Hello, my name is Brian Burnham, and this is Module 1 for EDL 851, Building Professional Capacity Through Personal Introductions. Who am I? I'm 41 years old. I'm a special education teacher. I've been teaching for 18 years. I'm currently teaching in Inclusion World History. I've also taught special needs and resource, which was a pull-out program early on in my career. I'm a football coach. I live in Spring Hill, Tennessee, which is located 25 miles south of Nashville. I graduated from Middle Tennessee State University in December of 2003. Some hobbies that I have and things that I like to do. I love to play golf. I enjoy reading. I jump on and play a little Xbox every now and then. And I love spoiling and loving on my dog, Axel. There's a couple pictures of him right there. Where do I work? I work at Summit High School, as I mentioned a minute ago. It's a grades 9 through 12 full high school located in Spring Hill, Tennessee. It's part of Williamson County School District. We have 1,750 students. I've taught at Summit for about 8 years. First 2 years, I taught inclusion, geometry, and algebra 2. The next 5 years, I was in the special needs classroom teaching transition 1. And this year, I'm back in inclusion and working in world history, like I mentioned. I'm also, like I said, I am a football coach, and we've been very fortunate over the last 3 years. We've played in 3 straight state championship games. We are 1-2 in those games, so we do have a state championship, but we lost 2 as well. But our seniors that are graduating in May are 41-4 over the last 3 seasons. So they've been very impressive. It's a great group. All right, let's look at some reviews of the articles and the main points that I kind of pulled from them. This first article talked about why it's important and the significance of having effective teacher supervision and evaluations in place. There isn't a uniform model across the country, which can cause discussion among states on what is important in terms of teacher evaluation. A lot of times, teacher supervision and/or evaluation has turned into a box that gets checked, as opposed to a learning and growing experience between administrator and teacher. Administrators shouldn't be tasked with evaluating teachers in their buildings based on a rubric that they may not be familiar with if they're coming in from out of state. The team model that we use here in Tennessee is one that's been adopted by multiple states at this point, so we are heading in the right direction in terms of everybody being on the same page. The second article that I read and focused on talked to us about teachers' mental health and well-being. It listed 10 steps that our schools can take to support school staff well-being. 4 points were what stuck out to me the most. The 4 that I came up with and saw that seemed to be the most meaningful were: is mental health and well-being of staff a priority in your school? If it's not, maybe we should be asking why. Can measures be taken to lighten the workload or limit the hours spent outside of the workday? Is there a comfortable, dedicated physical space at school where staff members can take time if and when it's needed? And finally, is the school open about mental health? Can it be discussed without fear of ridicule or questioning? Some ways that we can improve in these areas. One of the best and easiest ways is to improve on effective assessment. Evaluations, as I stated, should not simply be a box that's checked by an administrator to say that they've completed them. Continuing to have PDs for principals to fully comprehend the rubric with which they evaluate teachers and distinguish to them how they can mentor teachers and continue to hone their craft as educators are ways that we can become more effective. Also, creating a healthy culture. Staff members need, quote, the importance of feeling listened to, appreciated, and understood. And that recognition for good work goes a long way towards making staff feel valued. The third article the main idea that I saw and that came across is that managers and or principals in our situation in education have the ability to, quote, create a mentally healthy workplace for the staff they supervise. Managers must have confidence to discuss mental health issues. Training managers in this area of mental health increases their confidence. Consequently, face-to-face and online mental health trainings lead to more confidence in the workplace, which allows the staff to be trained properly, leading to employees' mental health being higher as well. It's kind of a trickle-down or domino effect. The fourth article spent its time trying to give suggestions on ways to answer 3 questions. How do hard-to-staff schools aggressively recruit teachers for their campuses? What steps should principals take to develop new teachers once they become a part of their faculty? And also, or finally, what activities should principals engage in to secure a teacher's long-term commitment to the school? Taking a proactive approach is a great way principals can target these issues. Investing in teachers and giving them full-time teacher mentors, paid for at the district level early on, is a great way to build morale. Teacher retention. There are ways mentioned in these past 2 articles that I just talked about to improve teacher retention. One way mentioned is increasing the amount of money available for teachers. Graduated sums of money that are incentive-based are a great way to entice teachers to return, even to hard-to-staff schools. Encouraging teachers to come to student-centered events like ball games, performing arts presentations, or the like is a great way to encourage teachers to invest in and love their school. Plus, as you all probably know, our students love seeing us come to those things and support them as well. So that can go a long way to our mental health in and of itself. And finally, providing opportunities for growth in certain areas of professional development paid for by the school is also a great way to encourage teachers to be ever improving and feel like they are cared for at their school. Finally, the 5th article focused on improving school culture and promoting mindfulness to help and aid in retention and improve well-being. Quote, improving school culture needn't be an expensive or cumbersome task. Simple processes can go a long way and have a powerful impact. Having a positive work culture automatically allows your school or business to maintain a transparent environment, which over time builds trust. Ways that we can improve on learning. Professional development has to be meaningful. Teachers and administrators have to benefit from all the trainings that they receive, or else the information that's being presented will not be retained. Principals also must be willing to learn from past mistakes. Experiencing their own trainings allows for confidence to be higher. This breeds success amongst staff. When the principal is confident in what they're presenting, it makes the staff more confident in what they are learning. Finally, well-being. I wrote this up a little differently. I didn't do bullet points because I wanted to make sure that people understood that this is, in my opinion, seems like the easiest way to, improve a school's culture the quickest. Getting your staff to buy into well-being as a catalyst for their success and demonstrating that you as the administrator take it as serious as school safety or any other major issue facing schools feels like the best and quickest area that a principal can make the biggest impact. It's like when a new head coach comes into a situation in any sport. The first thing they typically want to put their stamp on is the culture. One way to change the culture of a school is to show your employees that you genuinely care about their well-being, both physically and mentally. The standard stated to develop and engage staff in a collaborative professional culture designed to promote school employment improvement, teacher retention, and the success and well-being of each student and adult in the school. This assignment allows me to synthesize 5 very informative articles that all focused on taking steps to staff well-being, recruiting and retaining teachers in hard-to-staff schools, and informing us that serious steps need to be taken towards improving the expectation of administrators on evaluating teachers. This assignment helped me synthesize the information about these topics and become more informed on what it takes to have a school that teachers want to be a part of. When teacher improvement mental health and well-being, and maintaining a positive culture are the focus of a building, then that is a place that will foster the success of not only its students, but of its teachers as well. The relevance of this assignment will allow me to have a more focused approach to whatever building I'm an administrator in, because I will have a much better understanding of what it takes to create the positive culture that we all want to be a part of. Having the knowledge of the benefit of overall staff well-being and being able to provide incentives on multiple levels to help teacher retention will be tools I will carry with me for the duration of my time, both continuing as a teacher and as a future building leader. Sending out surveys and conducting meaningful professional developments are ways that I will be able to keep the pulse of my staff active, allowing me to continue to improve what I will be trying to build. Finally, building trust is one way that was described in improving school culture and staff well-being. As I think about the resources and the assignment of developing this presentation, I have a strong suspicion the skills I learned here will stay with me for a very long time. I will use these skills and tools learned here to build that trust amongst my staff. Honestly, though, I will probably benefit from this assignment as an educator moving forward just as much, if not more, than I will as an administrator, because now I know what to look for in the schools that I teach in, or better yet, maybe I can become a stronger resource for my principal in these areas than I have been up to this point. I'm excited to have this knowledge moving forward. Here are my references. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to working with everybody in class.